What is up, everyone? It's been a few weeks since we caught up, and a lot has happened. I want to talk a little bit today about raw numbers around the business and what I've been able to do so far. I also want to mention a few of you guys have reached out over email and LinkedIn. It's been awesome to meet with a few of you. If you do ever want to meet, just give me a shout, send me an email. Happy to book some time on the calendar. So let's talk a little bit today about what the business actually looks like now that I am 4 or 5 months in. And at the moment, the business is at about 15 million AUM. Through 9 clients and households. And what I want to mention most about those clients is that they're people who I wanted to work with. They're people that I thought we had a great relationship, that we had built time and trust together. And I can really see that now that they've been able to move their assets over to Altruist and with me under my management. I also think that the value proposition when I'm having discovery calls with them, I kind of need to start all over again because they're going to say, hey, I'm already paying XYZ% for this level of service. What are you going to give me that gets me that extra little boost? And I think what I've found to be the most successful in those conversations is just talking about my level of service and attention. That's really all anybody wants to hear, basically. And I think my fee is generally pretty competitive. And one thing that doesn't get talked about a lot is like, you can put your fee on your website, you can put your fee as your fee, but when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, you also want to generate new clients and new AUM to generate new fees and revenue for yourself. So I've really taken the approach that I would rather have the people that like working with me that I know are pretty low effort, and not to say it's low effort because their complexity is low or, they're not calling me all the time, because they are, and they have complex financial lives. But what I mean by that is that I already know what I'm getting when I'm working with them. I know that they're going to accept my advice. I know that they're going to be easy to work with and the conversations are going to be fun. When you are at a large, whether it's wirehouse or a large RIA, sometimes you don't necessarily get the choice of who you're working with. So there's a lot of people who, sure, I provided them great service and I thought we had a great relationship, but honestly, I probably wouldn't want them to be connected with me in my new firm. And here I'm really able to define who those people are and who I want to work with going forward. So one of the biggest surprises, I would say, is basically that almost nobody that has come from, previous relationships is on my new fee schedule, basically. And that is going to alter the amount of revenue and profit that I ultimately make. But the hope is that it's still going to be profitable as a relationship for me, and they are getting great value as well. I also want to mention, there are some things that I didn't realize would come with such amount of effort when you are your own RIA. And one of those things has been the amount that I've had to follow up with clients to get them to do something. When I was at other companies, it was usually somebody else doing that for me on my behalf. But now when I need someone to sign a DocuSign, or I had a great discovery call and I think that they're going to sign up and they're going to enroll, and then they fall off the face of the earth for 2 months and I need to get them back on the calendar, that feels really unnatural for me. And I tend to be someone who is non-confrontational, who doesn't love to pick up the phone and dial. And so that has been a hard lesson for me to learn, is that it's still a really important part of your business, because the more that I can do that, the more that it ultimately benefits me and my business at the end of the day. Now, I want to give you guys some hard numbers because I've had 4 financial plans complete now. All of those have been a one-time fee of anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000. That's about $30,000 of revenue. That really helped to stabilize any business needs or any personal needs throughout that time, because really, my first year goal was to have 4 clients as AUM to generate $80,000 of revenue between them. And I am now at a point where I'm starting to think about, actually, I'm at year 3's goals right now. I have 8 or 9 clients. The reason why this number changes, by the way, is because people are in different processes of enrolling and onboarding. If everybody was to come on that is in the process of onboarding, I would actually have closer to like $21 or $22 million of AUM, and I'd have maybe 12 clients that are onboarded. And so that's what I mean is like there's huge variance in the amount of people and the time that it takes them to get enrolled. When I was just starting out and it was like the most excited people to reach out to me and to enroll and to move their assets, it was really fast. It was quick like that. Now I have people that I know are going to take a little bit longer to make these decisions. They need to talk to their spouse. They need to maybe talk to their old advisor and see if they can come up with any flexibility. I had one where it was essentially people that I would absolutely love to work with. It was one of the best relationships that I had at my previous firm. The previous firm essentially offered them 2 free years of advice. And for their level of assets, I really can't blame them for sticking where they are. But man, that one hurt because that could essentially put me at like year 4 or year 5 in revenue. So we'll see what happens as we go forward. And at this point, like with people like that, the old company basically bribed them. I think that as they go further and further in their relationship with their new advisor, they're going to have this voice in the back of their mind that says, you know what, I actually really liked working with Jake and it's worth it to me to maybe pay a little bit more. Or I don't think this is a risk, but I have noticed some people that tend to be risk averse. They don't want to move their assets from a large company like a Fidelity or Vanguard or a Schwab to move their assets to Altruist. And as much as I can talk about them having FDIC insurance or SIPC insurance and all of the bells and whistles that come with being a brokerage and a custodian for independent advisors, sometimes that's just not enough because the sway of some of these very large brands and the trust that those brands carry with them is enough to stop someone from moving. So I have to respect all of that. And again, at the end of the day, like I'm in a place where I'm really comfortable to start generating and making that like exponential shift up. But at the same time, there have been a few key misses, I would say, or a few key losses that I would put on myself. And if I could do it over again, I potentially would have changed a few things. So guys, if we're talking about revenue right now, about $30,000 in financial plans that have been generated, there is $15 million AUM. From that per year, I expect to generate about $120,000 of revenue. And so each quarter, this coming July run in about a week from now, that'll be my first real quarterly fee run. That will, I think, make it start to feel real because all that I've had right now is essentially financial plans that have generated revenue. You guys can do this too. And I want to say the help that has come from like Smart RIA or some of the other services that are kind of combined into whether it's XYPN or you do something different, that isn't that hard. Like the bookkeeping is pretty simple and straightforward. The compliance is relatively straightforward as long as you spend the time on it to do it. And yeah, I mean, anybody can really do this. I tend to be someone that I am risk averse myself. I am worried about, am I missing something? Did I do that right? Is this business going to be successful? What gives me hope and what gives me confidence is knowing that there are some people out there running an RIA that have no idea what they're doing. If you're even like a little bit above that and you give yourself enough time and stability, I think you really anyone can be successful in this space. I did run into something that I just want to mention because I am someone that thinks financial planning is like the basis of all financial advice. Before I'm even making investment recommendations and decisions, I am going through a comprehensive plan and delivering that to my client. And we're agreeing on what the plan says, on what their preferences are and how they want to invest. And I'm running into people that have advisors that they like, but all they're doing is investment management. They don't have a financial plan. They haven't talked about risk tolerance. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, how can this be possible? How are you charging more than 1% for just investment management? And these people are like, they're bogleheads. They care about diversification and low cost funds and ETFs. And still they're like, I like that advisor. I'm going to stick with them. So trying to still be kind and not talk down to anybody. And I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, they've been taken advantage of or what they're doing is stupid. And at the same time, I still feel like I can serve them better. And how much should I push to make them see that I can serve them better in the future? So I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments. And again, if you're in the process of potentially thinking about going independent, you don't want to put any public information out there, reach out to me. Send me an email, jake@woolstonewealth.com. Happy to send you a calendar link so we can chat. Till next time, guys, enjoy the summer, enjoy the World Cup. I'll see you later.